What's up, beautiful people? You're watching another week of Pat's Interference, a college football podcast, the best college football podcast, the only college football podcast. Shout out, shut down Fullcast.
Shout out.
It's been a fun weekend.
It has.
It's been a good weekend of college football.
We feel a lot better today than we did last week, that's for sure.
I was a sourpuss last week, I'm not going to lie.
It's okay.
I'm a little bit of a sourpuss this week, but for different reasons.
So Bosco's in my lap, and I just realized it looked like I was strangling her because...
Can you see her on? Oh,
yeah.
You can see Bosco on the
dude.
screen. Thank you guys for joining us. If you are just tuning in for the first time ever, thank you. This is Pat's Interference, a 9-year-old college football podcast that we've now very recently brought to Twitch.
Yep.
We play NCAA football while we do it. In fact, we've got ourselves a little online dynasty. So I'm going to take a moment before we get into the football of this, and I'm going to remind you of where we were when we left off last week, if I can find my mouse cursor.
Yeah, we'll get the intern on it. Skylar, do you want to switch that camera over for us?
All right, so here we go. This is where we were. We are controlling UAB as offensive coordinator, and we are to week 6. We lost a game to Oklahoma, but we're rolling along.
Yep.
We're going to be playing these games while we discuss our college football, and then we'll go from there. I guess I didn't introduce our names, so I'll do that. I'm Patrick Brickman, and he is Patrick Norwood. And,
howdy. We're best friends in the whole world. If this is your first time listening, by the way, we're also podcasts. Spotify.
Yes.
Apple,
if
all
you're,
of it. Anywhere you want to listen to us. We're best friends in the whole world. We met in college. We went to Alabama. We talk about Alabama a good bit.
About half the podcast, maybe 40% of the podcast is 35, 40 is Alabama.
I like 40. I like 40. 40 is a good number because even sometimes when we're not talking about Alabama, we're talking about Alabama. A little bit.
Yes.
A little bit.
So two things I really want to tell you guys about on as far as our online or our NCAA 14 Dynasty is going.
Not online.
Not online.
Not online.
So the number one prospect who I created, Kermit McDermott, has been he's got some interest. But Tennessee is leading for him.
Did we go over who Kermit McDermott was?
Did we? So every year, I don't know, but maybe you don't know.
Let's remind our viewers.
You can, in the preseason, you can create prospects. I always create one that I'm not allowed to recruit. I just like to see where he goes and sometimes play against him.
Yep.
Kermit McDermott, pure pocket passer, 6'5", 211.
How did you pick Parkland, Washington?
I just random. I just scroll and stop and scroll and stop.
And Washington's not in his top 3.
Washington is not. No, Tennessee is recruiting him hard. So that's two things. The other thing is that the other thing I always do is if I'm a coordinator, I don't do recruiting until I'm a head coach.
Yep.
But I always go after the next best player.
Yep.
And now UAB leads for him.
Yep.
This is a 6'4" athlete that's almost certainly going to be a quarterback if you look at his throw power, throw accuracy.
And I think if we end up staying at UAB, it'll be because
we want to play with the true freshman. Deion Cox would be our guy. Or we might leave. We might decide that, we get a better offer. But Deion Cox, if he commits to UAB, is going to weigh heavily in our mind.
We're a 40% lock for him, too.
We are, oh my goodness, we're
40%.
That's gonna be a huge win for Trent Dilfer.
That's gonna be big for Trent. So if you're joining us for the first time this pod, we are 3-1 with UAB as offensive coordinator. Our one loss was to a top 5 team in Oklahoma, who we actually put up a lot of points against.
We did.
Defense couldn't really do their job,
and I threw like 3 picks.
Well, we're not worried about that. But yeah, no. So I mean, we're not bad at this game. We fixed the lag issue. The sliders are crazy because it's pretty hard.
We put really hard sliders because we're comp. We're comp. We know what we're doing.
No, we're not idiots.
No, we are good at this game.
You look at these two dudes and you're like,
they know
they're not idiots.
Yeah, I mean they know football. They know ball.
All right. While you get this started, I'll go ahead and start off.
Yes, and then real quick, we're doing this Twitch for a very specific reason, and that's because we want you to, talk along with us. So please type in the comments. We'll stop whatever we're on, and we'll get to whatever you got. If we have some time at the end, I actually think I've got a little discussion topic that we'll do in the comments.
I like that.
Once we finish
Stick around.
a little rundown, but we're still playing a game. So, with that in mind, I'll let you start with the college football this week. I'm going to go ahead and get our game loading up. We're playing FAU to start with. And,
on our
little
docket here. We've got the game of the week to start off. I like that you did this. Ohio State beats Notre Dame 17-14. Shout out Kool-Aid McKinstry.
Shout out Kool-Aid on the loading screen. Go ahead and pull him up.
Yeah, no, that game was tough. I feel like Notre Dame really leaned on Sam Hartman as they should, and that's what you do. But it got to a point where they weren't running the ball at all. It kind of became predictable what they were doing.
It was such a good. I mean, that is as good as college football gets in a Week 4 game.
Football. I liked that the score was a little bit on the lower side. A lot of good defense being played in that game. Before we start anything, what do you think of the Notre Dame jerseys? The green.
Oh, I was disappointed because
I was too, man, and I want to like them.
It's not even the fact that I didn't love the alternate jersey, but
No.
It's not even that. It's that we so rarely get an Ohio State Notre Dame that kind of blue blood matchup.
Yep.
And when we get it, I might be a little bit of a purist or a traditional kind of guy, but I want to see them wear the jerseys that we know and love.
Yeah.
If you're gonna be Notre Dame, first of all, you should never wear alternate jerseys. But if you are, do that against Navy. Do that against Stanford.
Yeah. Yep.
But if you have a home and home against Ohio State, I want to see the classics. I want to feel like I'm watching this game in the 80s and the 70s.
I think there's that. I also didn't like the shade of green. I would have liked a more like emerald forest green than the clover. And I get why they did clover, Kelly green, that type of thing.
Sure.
But I just didn't like it. Anyway,
we're nitpicking a little bit, but
we are. So
we're also the authority on all things college football.
There's a lot to break down in this game, but I'd say we just skip right to the end. If you're a Notre Dame fan, that hurts.
Yeah.
Right? That game hurts. You had them. They were there. You gave up a third, and Durham Bulls just took a 1-0 lead, by the way.
Hey, it's playoff baseball right now.
Let's go Bulls. But I think, man, you give up a third and 19, and then you've got 10 players on the field for the last 2 plays of the game, and you don't have any sort of mindset for the rush whatsoever. On the last play of the game, they're a yard out.
They were as out of sorts and as you could be, because I don't think many people expected the game to be that close even 20 minutes prior, for the game to be where it was. It looked like Ohio State had given the game away by failing to pick up a first down, I don't know, 5 game minutes earlier.
So after this game, are you buying Ohio State more than we were last week, or no?
Oh, absolutely. I was impressed with the way they played. I mean, it's not easy to go.
Look, we make fun of Notre Dame a lot. It's not the greatest environment to play in, right? It's not the hardest environment to play in, but it's still an away game against a top 10 team.
No, if you imagine this is college basketball for a minute, that's a quad 1 win. I mean, that's a huge win that can really. So my other question is, one of the things about Notre Dame is, because they don't play in a conference, we have the same discussion most years at this point of the year after Notre Dame loses that first game. But, considering they don't play in a conference,
right,
as soon as they lose that first game, it feels like they need a little help. But, and I'm going to pull this up just to make sure, they do have some quality games left. Duke this week, Louisville, who's looking a lot better than anybody thought they would, USC and Clemson.
Yeah.
Could they still be a playoff team, or are we going to, kind of feel like they're seeing themselves out? I think a 3-point loss to Ohio State is going to keep them right in it.
Well, and Tyler brings up a good point here in the chat. Again, feel free to bust us up in the chat. We want to hear from you. The 10 players on the field and refusing to take a penalty is bad. Just take the penalty.
Yeah?
Just take the penalty. They get, 5 more inches?
5 more.
Okay, great. Then what?
But in that moment, it's so hard to be in
that sort
in the
of
right
thing
frame
is
of mind.
Like the 2012 SEC championship game when everyone's like, why are you catching that ball?
Yeah.
Right? Why are you catching that ball? It got tipped and you're not going to get out of bounds. And because that's not an instinctual thing. You're just trying to win the game. You're doing everything you can to win the game. That's a great play call, get in the end zone.
That's 6, baby.
There's my man.
That's 6.
All UAB up 6-0 on FAU, just like we predicted. I think Notre Dame still has a path to the playoff. They've got a lot of games that they can still win that'll help get them there.
Yeah.
And especially, look, you're looking at the end of the season, USC, right? Mm-hmm. I mean, that game is at the end of the season. Right?
Yeah, that's usually towards the end, if not the last game of the year.
I think there's definitely still a path for Notre Dame to make the playoff, but they have to not only win, they have to win convincingly because they don't have the luxury of a conference title game. Right?
No, they don't. That hurts them in December, but I do think it's a rare year where a lot of the games left on their schedule are high key enough.
Yes.
That they might still be able to get in even without a conference championship and not even need other teams to lose.
Yep.
On the other side, I want to ask about Ohio State. Like, how are you feeling about them? Because we were a little, I won't say too far down because it was so early.
Yeah.
But we were a little down on them than we thought we'd be.
Yeah.
3 weeks into the year. So how do we feel about them after Saturday?
I don't feel a ton better. I feel a little better because, again, it was a tough game on the road. But that passing game still really struggles. I think it looked like until they started running the 2-minute offense, which is mainly instinct, if we're being honest.
You went QB power.
I really like running with this guy.
He's like 70 speed, but he trucks dudes like crazy.
He just had a 20-yard run.
Yeah, he just trucks dudes.
But yeah, no, I think it's it's missing something, and I can't quite put my finger on what it is. I don't know if it's an accuracy issue. I don't know what it is, but it's still just missing. There's something that's not there.
Well, I mean, you're exactly right. It's the big plays. They have as loaded of a wide receiver room as we've seen since Bama had all those dudes 4 or 5 years ago. I mean, they're loaded at receiver. They should be throwing for 350 yards a game. They're not, and they're undefeated, so we can't really hit the panic button.
Well, that was another thing that was it could have been catastrophic. Marvin Harrison Jr. went down in the middle of.
I forgot about. I was so impressed with him, and I was watching the game on mute, so I don't know how big of a deal they were making it. But he taped that thing back up and came in. I thought it was a multiple week injury,
and he played great after he came back in.
Yeah,
you know.
He had catches. He was getting open. He almost had a long touchdown diving catch.
Yeah. So
that's guts.
It is.
That is guts.
It's a gutsy performance. Ohio State still has plenty of time to turn around and impress people. Luckily for them, their biggest game is going to be the last game of the season against Michigan.
And I think figuring out a way to win that game after you've already lost it. Now, they weren't impressive for 4 whole quarters.
No.
But they were very impressive in those final 3 minutes, and great teams figure out a way to do that.
Our receivers keep missing blocks over here on NCAA 14, and it's driving me insane. Sorry.
That's,
Sorry. Chat, are you guys seeing this? Are you guys seeing our wide receivers just completely miss blocks on the edge? That was a 5-yard gain.
All right.
Anyway.
So, Ohio State, 17-14. That was a great game, as good as football gets in week 4.
Yeah.
But the most talked about game of the week wasn't even that one.
No.
It was, I'm not telling you anything you don't know,
State.
but
No.
Oregon, Colorado was one of the more discussed week 4 college football games in recent memory, especially between one team that's not a traditional power, and then Oregon has been. But that was as embarrassing as it could have gotten for Colorado.
Well, and I think
regardless of what you think about him, I mean, that was
he made up for the missed block, ladies and gents.
What a tutter!
I think
we're watching the replay on that one.
I think the thing that drives me nuts, Josh Pate mentioned this, shout out, was the amount of people that were like Sports Illustrated came out with an article that said Colorado stunned by Oregon. They were 21-point dogs.
Yeah.
How does that make any sense?
Nobody
whatsoever?
expected them to win, but everybody wanted to talk about the game like we were considering those two teams equals. And it was a 21-point spread. Those teams aren't equals.
The only time that Colorado has bothered me at all, and again, you mentioned this when we were talking before we started recording.
Right.
All teams do this. This is not a Colorado thing. The amount of smack talk pregame.
Yes.
And you're rubbing your cleats on the logo and everything. Calm down. Relax. And I get it. That's your whole brand. That's your vibe. That's your energy right now. And granted, to their credit, they've handled it with grace after the loss.
Sure.
Right? But it was the first time they rubbed me the wrong way, and then I was more excited to see Oregon really go out there and lay the wood. Also, let me ask you this. Are you buying Oregon more after that game, or are you selling Colorado more after that game?
I hate to cop out and say both, so I'll choose one, and I'm going to say I have to probably buy Oregon more. Because I did expect things like this to happen in Colorado's season. I didn't expect Oregon to beat them. I thought they could get close to covering, but I didn't expect them to. I mean, they could have put up more than 40. It was 35-0 at half.
We said it on the pod last week that we thought that that's bad luck.
That's 2 straight drops.
That's bad luck.
That was perfect touch pass right in the breadbasket, man.
I think we both said last week that we could see Colorado having a late cover. I don't think either of us saw anything of what was going to happen that happened on Saturday.
I was, very impressed with Colorado very impressed with Oregon. Not super impressed with Colorado, but I expected them to get punched at some point.
Yeah.
I'm more interested in what Colorado does now.
Yes.
I'll be completely honest, because I knew they were going to get punched. I knew they were getting too high, too full of themselves. Yeah. There was going to be a fall.
Well,
it's uglier than I thought it would be.
Yeah.
But now they got USC, and now I'm really interested to see what they do.
That's the big thing, is how do you respond? And that game is in Boulder, chugging this way. That game is in Boulder. Mm-hmm. And that's a huge part of this game that's going to come up. But no, I mean, like I said, they've handled the loss with grace. I think their only misstep so far is a little bit too much smack talk pregame. Mm-hmm. But again, It's college football.
Yeah,
A lot
it doesn't
of
bother
teams
me.
do
It
that.
just makes me embarrassed for Oregon that all got caught on camera, and now it's or not
Well,
Oregon,
so-
Colorado that all got caught on camera, and it looks. I mean,
And here's the
trust
question-
me, had Colorado won that game, that would have looked really cool to the unbiased college football fan. But you lost. Like that's embarrassing.
I also want to ask you, were they saying all that to Oregon's cameras?
I don't know if that's an Oregon camera guy or if they got a ooh.
We're all right. We're all right. We're all right. We're all right.
He picked it up.
That's a first down. That's a first down. That's a first down, and then some. Yeah, there we go.
No,
Could have been a late hit.
Oregon was a little full. Not Oregon. I keep mixing up the two teams we're talking about.
Yeah,
Colorado was a little full of themselves.
Yes.
Obviously, that's a known fact now. But their season's not over, and they
No.
can still impress everybody by responding. It stinks that they didn't have Travis Hunter, but that he wasn't affecting that game anyway.
Dude, Colorado was projected to have 3 wins this season.
They've already overachieved.
Look, they respond well against USC this weekend. They're right back in the national headlines. Mm-hmm. They are,
If they keep it close, if they keep it respectable, I'm going to be impressed with them.
Yeah,
I think the
absolutely.
line is, again, right at 20, 21, 22.
Yep.
About the same as it was last week. So they've got another chance to go out and show that,
Okay, so-
they're not a team that gets blown out against good teams, that they're one of those
listen,
good teams.
if FAU keeps blitzing, I'm going to keep throwing screens.
I mean, you just threw right over their head.
I think, let me ask you this.
Mm-hmm.
If they come out and get beat as bad or worse than they did against Oregon, then what do you think people will say, and what will you feel about Colorado?
They'll sort of fade from the everyday college football discussion.
Sure.
And when they make headlines, it's just going to be because of things that Dion has said.
Yes.
And that's what Colorado's going to be the rest. They're going to get posted as clickbait, and that is about as far as Colorado's season goes. Now again, we've already agreed that they've overachieved, no matter what happens the rest of the way. One more win, and they've already broken their over/under for wins on the year.
Right.
So they've already overachieved. They've already
Yes.
beaten ranked teams. It's been a successful season already just with what they've built. But yeah, they'll fade away if they get beat by another 30 points against USC.
Yeah.
The Colorado honeymoon's completely
Yeah,
over.
that'll
It's
be-
already on
Life sport.
life support. We'll move on to another really good game.
Oh, gosh. Sorry. Thought I threw a pick 6.
A game that I'm interested to hear your reaction to now that it's 2 or 3 days later. Florida State beating Clemson in overtime, right? And we were watching this game together on the couch. It was fun. Clemson looked like they were going to win. They had a chip shot field goal with about a minute left.
Sure did.
That would have really
Also,
put the pressure on Florida State.
the storyline of that kicker and the fact that was such a I did it. I did it. I knew I was going to do it, and I did it. The fact that story was such a storyline. Their kicker, obviously, coming back to school after turning down a finance job to play kicker at Clemson, completely shanked the game-winning field goal. That's heartbreaking to watch. And then they lose it in overtime. I am becoming more disenchanted with Dabo as the years go on. It was for
You
a
and me
while.
both.
It was just how cringy he was, how over the top, and look at me, I fit in so well with the youngsters he was. How do you do, fellow kids, if you will?
Oh yeah, that stuff.
But it wasn't ever really anything on the field that bothered me. The DJU stuff was odd, and obviously it's a weird situation when a quarterback that's highly touted. That was a great run. That is that highly touted coming out of high school flops that badly. But that happens. Things like that can happen, and you just kind of blame it on, oh, well, the quarterback wasn't who we thought he was, whatever. But I just don't think Dabo handled that situation with a ton of grace.
Yeah.
That rubbed me the wrong way. And then Saturday, he looked angry that his players were doing the things that he and his coaching staff were telling them to do.
Yeah.
That's rubbed me the wrong way.
What do you mean by that?
They would come over to the sideline and he'd be complaining about, well, why are we running that play? It wasn't an execution thing.
Yeah.
And it just, he doesn't have the, that's awful.
Oh my God.
He doesn't have the
It's frustrating.
Saban or even Kirby Smart clout,
Yeah.
where he can blame a coordinator and people just automatically. You have Garrett Riley, who took Max Duggan to a national title game.
Right.
You have Kate Klubnik, who's a very good quarterback, and showed it on Saturday. That's another thing I want to bring up. Kate Klubnik played a great game. He looked like the Kate Klubnik we thought he was going to be all year, that you thought could potentially win a Heisman this year.
Sure.
But Dabo just seems so
It's fourth down. Yeah, we're going for
frustrated
this.
that I can't really put my finger on it, but I'm starting to wonder how hot that seat is getting, if it's getting hot at all, and if it's not, what's it going to take for it to get hot?
What does chat think? Is Dabo's seat getting a little bit toasty? I did not expect a D lineman to drop into coverage.
That was rough. Yeah, chat.
When do D linemen ever drop in coverage in this game? Come on.
He's working on instinct right now.
Ugh.
All right, we're getting in the end zone. All right, enough of this. We're getting in the end zone this drive. Yeah, chat, let us know what you think about Clemson and Dabo Swinney. Is his seat getting hot? Do you think his seat is ever going to get hot? And if not, or if so, or if it's not this week, what's it going to take? That's the question.
So Florida State has had a sort of, I don't want to call it up and down because they're undefeated and they're winning and they're beating even good teams. I mean, they beat LSU, now they beat Clemson. Those are two big question marks coming into the year if they were even going to win those games, right? We said we wouldn't be shocked if Florida State opened the year 2-2, and they're 4-0. I mean, the drops are getting crazy. That could have been 6.
I can't put that ball any better.
But there's no doubt they're very much in their own driver. They're as much in a driver's seat as anybody else in college football as far as the playoffs go because their toughest games left are Duke and Miami. And those aren't easy games, but they're both at home.
They are.
So yes or no today, Florida State's a playoff team?
Yes. Yes, I think so. I think we talked about how weird it is to play in Chestnut Hill, right? We talked about everything under the sun with them, with that game. And whether or not that is a great ball, you have to catch that. I'm so sorry for yelling on the podcast for you listening. I think, Tyler says our receivers look like A.J. Brown. I don't know if you saw him Monday Night Football last night. He had a ton of drops. Looked like T. Higgins there too, Tyler. I think Florida State has shown in the last 2 weeks they can overcome adversity in a very unique and good way. That's a huge win over a Clemson team, even though that Clemson team is not looking as great as normal. They still haven't lost. I think it was wasn't that a 19-game home win streak or something crazy? I mean, it was probably more than that even.
That is one of the wins that you don't really look at the final score.
No.
Right? Florida State, Clemson, a win is a win no matter what when it's those two teams.
Look, if I told you at the beginning of the season, we can get a field goal here if you call a timeout.
I'm going to do the hurry up.
Oh, I'm nervous. We got 9 seconds left if you're on the pod in the first half. We're up 14-7. Really trying to push one across the board before we go into the locker room.
He's there again.
Oh, you got him. I'm sorry, podcast. I think, if I told you at the beginning of the season, Florida State escapes Clemson with a win, we take that. We don't.
My parents are FSU fans. If you don't know, and they were annoyed at how sloppy FSU was playing for a long time.
He's open again. Oh my goodness!
I couldn't get the timeout in. I dropped it imperfect, but couldn't get it.
Okay.
It just helps our stats.
Right. All right, we got one here. Forrest says, even if Dabo is on the hot seat, I don't think it'll end with him being fired. Probably coordinators will be fired instead. It's gonna be tough with Garrett Riley. Did this just crash?
Yeah, I think we've got a little freeze going here.
All right, well, we'll just put ourselves up, and I'll talk while you figure that out.
I don't
really know what we're
game.
Gonna do. Yeah, so we're gonna have to replay that first half, I guess.
Yeah, we are.
You hate to see it. That's all right though. But yeah, I think if he keeps flopping for a couple of years, then yes, says Forrest. Yeah, I agree with that. I don't think it would necessarily be this year, but I think next year is probably the year it would happen if it's going to happen.
Yeah.
But yeah, back to Florida State. You've got a Heisman contender. You've got Miami coming to town. That's going to be a rivalry game. I think they can even potentially drop that game depending on how they play the rest of their schedule and maybe make the playoff.
Yeah, that was my next question is do you think they could even make it in with one loss?
I think they could. It's going to be a little tougher, and they'd need some things to go their way. But if there's a year in college football where that's going to happen, it's right now.
Yeah.
You've got a down Clemson, a down Alabama, a Georgia that hasn't looked ultra dominant. You have a Ohio State that hasn't looked ultra dominant. USC, by the way, because you asked, thank you for asking.
Sure.
Only beat Arizona State by 14. Okay, Arizona State covered, forks up. So yeah, man, I think the year's kind of wide open. I think if there's a year where they're gonna have one loss and play like this, it's gonna be when you have a Heisman Trophy winner or a Heisman Trophy contender in your locker room taking snaps. with that much press and everything, I think it could happen for sure.
Clemson snuck in before with losses out of the ACC. They've done that before, so it can happen. ACC is a hard one to lose in and still make the playoff, but it's happened at least twice to Clemson, so I think it could happen to Florida State as well.
Okay.
All right, our game's back up.
Let's get a little sad in here. Penn State and Iowa. Good night, buddy. 31-0 Penn State. Your boy Drew Allar, who was Patrick Bateman's Heisman pick preseason.
He's played well. He had, I think, 190. The stats aren't there, but the success, and he's not making mistakes, and he's doing exactly what he's not going to win the Heisman because of his stats. Remember when Tua was getting subbed out? And I'm not saying he's Tua, but he didn't win because the stats weren't good enough because he wasn't playing fourth quarters. Drew Allar won't win it. He won't make any Heisman lists until he gets that big upset win.
Right.
So if he can throw for 300 yards against Ohio State, he's right back in it. But no, I wanted to mention one thing I hadn't talked about. I've only talked about Drew Allar when it comes to Penn State because I'm so high on him.
Yep.
But shutting out, I know Iowa hasn't had the greatest offense, but that's a shutout. That's a 31-0 win.
Yeah. Iowa's offense was terrible. They had four.
We're starting at a 10-0 hole now. How did that happen?
I hate this. We're gonna come back and win this game. That's all it's gonna. That's what's gonna happen.
Look at beautiful Boca though.
I think. Wow, Boca Raton. 4 first downs in the entire game is one of the most depressing things I've ever heard in my life.
I thought Horkins. I thought Iowa's offense was. They're not good, but they were turning it around a little compared to last year.
Brian Ferentz point total that he has to achieve, he was like way ahead of the pace, and now he's like 2 touchdowns behind it.
Right back down in the doldrums,
Oh my gosh, man!
Right back down in the weeds.
I don't know how you can convince people to come play for Iowa on offense. What does that process even look like?
You saw Caden Proctor decommit from Iowa on signing day to go to Alabama.
I mean, it's rough, dude. It's rough. Caden Proctor, the way he's lit this season.
Yeah, he was obviously a lot better. We're going to get to Alabama, but we're going to talk. Caden Proctor, somebody I do plan on bringing up today.
40% of the pod.
Yeah.
I mean, this is we got to come back in this game. UAB, after the game froze, we started it back up. If you're listening on the pod, and now we're down 10-0 in the first quarter, and we're not happy about it.
We were winning though, so
we got a 14-7 lead at half, dude.
Also, we're just not losing this game.
No, we're not going to lose. No, it's depressing. If you're an Iowa fan, it's depressing. Brian Ferentz should have been gone 90,000 years ago. I mean, he's not the guy.
Yeah.
He's just not good. He's just not good. All right, you said you have here Penn State.
Oh yeah, I like this. I like this topic.
Penn State, Washington, who beat Cal 59-32. They gave up 32 points to Cal.
They did.
Good night. Utah, who beat UCLA 14-7. All quietly undefeated, kind of under the radar. Which of these 3 do you see as most likely to pull off an upset and make a conference championship? I think out of these 3, I'd probably take Washington at this point.
I'm surprised you said that.
I was pretty low on Washington on the pod last week, and I kind of got cut in half for it.
Okay.
But in fairness, I'm retracting those statements right now because they came out and they played great, and Penix had incredible numbers. He had a heck of a day. And I think it's just the shakedown with the Pac-12 and what we're looking at. I think right now it is a 3-horse race between Washington, Oregon, and USC. Right? And I think that lends itself to one of those teams maybe not playing at the conference championship, but still getting in the college football playoff, as we've seen time and time again. Thank goodness he dropped that. As we've seen time and time again happen with the college football playoff, and one of the reasons why we're going away from 4 teams and whatever. I could very much see a world where Washington gets in with 1 loss, and the 1 loss is to a Pac-12 champion.
The Pac-12 is by far the most intriguing conference to me right now.
Well, sure, and it's about to die.
That just kind of hurt. I didn't expect to feel that way when you said that, but
one of my least favorite things in college football right now is you go to College Game Day, anything ESPN is doing, and they're like, oh, how could we not save the Pac-12? I'm like, you're the reason it's dead. It's your fault. It is directly your fault.
Yeah.
So I don't know.
Yeah, you don't get to play sad when you've chosen other conferences over the Pac-12 and just watch it die.
It's the Eric Andre meme. Why would the NCAA do this? And it's ESPN holding the gun, shooting the guy in the chest. It's the same thing. So yeah, no, I'll take, and I'll do. You know what? I'll do you one better. I'll do it in this order. I'll take Washington, Penn State, because I think it's kind of a more down year for the Big Ten. I think really, again, 3-horse race, and you could have a situation where one of the teams gets in that isn't a conference champion, and I think that team very well could be Penn State. And then Utah, I'm not buying Utah right now.
Yeah.
I'm going to be honest with you. I'm really not.
I wasn't going to put Utah in there, but then I saw them at 10 and I saw them undefeated. I was like, well, I'm not going to bring up Washington and not bring up Utah. When if Utah beats Washington at some point, they're capable of it.
I am pretty tired of the, Cam Rising's out. Well, Cam Rising's out. They'll get better. They'll get better. At some point, you got to stop looking at that.
Yeah.
At some point, it's not just Cam Rising's out. It's, maybe Utah is just, not what we're expecting them to be. That being said, they keep winning.
They beat UCLA.
They beat UCLA.
That's a good team.
They only gave up 7 points last week against Chip Kelly. And I'm sorry, I know we make a lot of jokes about Chip Kelly, but that's
also, that's a ranked UCLA. They've played well. Like, that's not a It's not what UCLA win was in years past. Like, that's a good win.
Yeah. Hey, way to get upfield and get that first down.
Thanks.
So yeah, I'll take them in that order.
I'm nickeling and diming them, but I'm not. You know what? I'm gonna go to the end zone here.
Go to the end zone. Take a shot. Why don't you take a shot?
I am going to Jalen Milroe this, and actually, there's 2 routes. I'm looking at either X or A.
I'm going to Jalen Milroe this.
Over the top. Boom.
No.
Look at that touch. Oh, no. Come on.
Another drop touchdown pass.
No, come on. That was perfect.
Another drop touchdown
I
pass.
Brady'd that one in there.
You have here a team we haven't mentioned this season but probably should know. Washington State beats Oregon State 38-35. Great game, by the way.
Yeah.
That game was a ton of fun. I went back. I didn't watch the game live, but I went back and watched the replay. Ton of fun, that game. It looked great. It looked great. Cam Ward had an absolute dominant performance there. 2 ranked wins for Washington State now. And you have here a 50-24 win over Colorado State as well, which gave a very talented team.
They beat who was the other ranked? They beat Wisconsin.
Wisconsin, yeah.
That's not a team that they should normally be beating.
No, so I think. Buddy.
That closed fast.
All right. Well, hey, we're getting.
I didn't want to throw a pick, so I just took the sack.
We're on the board. Yeah, it's 4th down.
I know.
Oh, okay.
I took the sack.
You just can't see it.
I was gonna force it in the middle and went, that's gonna get picked, so I just took the sack.
That's not good. So yeah, I think they're a legit team. I think it's a great storyline for the end of the Pac-12 era. That being said, I think USC and Washington would absolutely smack them, and I think that is generous compared to what Oregon would do to them.
Now, I agree with you, but I also look at Washington State, and they've been this a couple times. They're with the late, great Mike Leach. I do see a team, because their quarterback has been playing Cam Ward has been so awesome. I don't think they're making any conference championships, but I would not be surprised if they upset one of these teams that we think should smack them. I could see them beating a team they shouldn't. Utah being the main one if they play Utah. I don't remember if they play Utah, but I could see that. Another game that I don't know how to quantify. Actually, this is probably the number 1 game of the weekend I don't know how to quantify.
Okay, I'm excited for it.
LSU beating Arkansas 34-31.
Whoa, Golden Boot was a doozy this year, wasn't it?
First of all, I hate that this game is in September now, because when I was a kid,
dude, it was always like Thanksgiving weekend.
But they made A&M the end of the year rival for LSU, which has been a good series.
That's been one of the oldest series in college football. I don't know if you knew that or not,
but I miss Arkansas LSU being at the end of the year. Little Darren McFadden beating
Stop it. So shout out Independence High School beat Franklin High School that night to make it to regionals.
Hey, all right. So, but 34-31.
Why do I remember that?
If you're new to this podcast, I kid you not.
Go Eagles, says Tyler. Yes, sir.
Let's do it. If you're new to the podcast, this is probably year 5 or 6 of this running trope for us. But I am always wrong about LSU, right? Always. Because of the way they've been playing after the LSU loss. I thought that they would go out and smoke an Arkansas team that just lost to BYU.
Well, we also... we said this last week, but it's true. LSU is the agent of chaos in college football.
Yeah.
You just don't know what they're going to do. They don't know what they're going to do most of the time.
They struggled with Arkansas, and last week Arkansas was one of our teams that we tabbed as being one of the bigger disappointments in the country. Just with the losing to BYU, we had higher hopes for that.
Yeah.
But
Fallout Boy. That's such a stupid joke.
I liked it though.
That's a dumb joke.
All right. Okay. So LSU's got Ole Miss, Missouri, Auburn before the Alabama game. We know they're looking ahead to that. But what chances do you feel like LSU could drop one of those? considering how inconsistent they've been.
Honestly, 0%. 0% chance. I don't think. Name the 3 teams again.
Ole Miss, Missouri, Auburn.
Ole Miss just struggled against an Alabama team that was against the ropes. If there was a year where Ole Miss, and Jackson Dart said this too, and we'll talk about this in a minute. If there was a year this Ole Miss team was going to get Alabama, it was this year. And they couldn't do it. And not only couldn't they do it, they looked awful. Where is that Ole Miss game?
I honestly don't remember. I should have put that down, but I didn't. I just put the opponents.
So I don't really trust Ole Miss winning. Missouri, I'm not buying at all, and Auburn is terrible.
Fair enough. So you think
Auburn's a bad football team.
Yeah, I mean we've learned
but
what they are.
I feel like we should reiterate it again in case people didn't hear us. Auburn's really bad at football this year.
Since you're there, I mean the next game I have on this list, we're pretty much done with LSU anyways.
Yeah,
but A&M.
Hey, shout out Arkansas. One day you're going to win the Golden Boot like a lot of times in a row, and that's going to be a really fun time for college football. Sorry, keep going.
No, A&M beating Auburn 27-10. Now neither team was ranked. I usually try to keep our discussion to ranked teams, but now we're getting in a conference play, so we're getting away from that.
Yeah.
This was probably our best. Auburn played Cal, and it was a weird game, so I didn't really take a lot away from that one. This was the most legitimate look we've gotten at Auburn under Hugh Freeze through their 2 Power 5 games, so Cal and A&M. 94 passing yards against Cal.
Yep.
56 against A&M.
Yep.
They're dealing with what Alabama was just dealing with, but it's lasting longer. They played 3 quarterbacks Saturday, and none of them played well.
And they looked atrocious.
They were excited. The fan base. Oh, look at that.
Oh, I thought I could do it.
Oh,
that's on me.
Hey,
that's
it's all
on
good.
Me.
We
That's
got
on
this.
Me. Sorry,
No,
I just threw a pick.
The fan base has been a little excited about this Garner quarterback for a while, waiting for him to be ready enough to play because he's young. Yep. He was a freshman last year.
Sure.
He's probably redshirted, and he wasn't good. Basically, well, because I want to ask about both teams because Alabama plays both this year. But give me your thoughts first on Auburn. We watched most of that game together.
Auburn's bad. Auburn's very bad. And actually, what's crazy is I think Auburn's run game is really good. Mm-hmm. I think their passing game is just that terrible, where it doesn't really matter what they can do on the ground because it looks so terrible. But yeah, anyway, I think now,
but this isn't.
I think Auburn's defense is passable at times. They forced a lot of turnovers. They definitely get back and hit the quarterback, but that run game is so terrible. And if you can't establish a run game in college football, you're just not going to win.
I like their running backs. I love I mean, I don't love Jarquez Hunter, but you know what I mean. Like, I think Jarquez Hunter's a quality running back. I actually think he could be even maybe better than Tank Bigsby, and I didn't think I'd say that, but I love the way he runs the ball.
That's a hot take.
And their defense is, like you said, decent. They're not Brian Harsin bad. They are passing the ball right now, but that's because Brian Harsin left them with a D2 roster. I mean, he left them with his probably the least talented team in the SEC.
Yeah.
After all the transfers left, they were less talented than Vanderbilt.
Agreed.
They're not worse than Vanderbilt.
No.
They're not good.
No.
They might be the worst team in the West.
Could be.
I'm interested to see what Hugh Freeze does in year 2. That's when I'll really start judging them harshly.
Yes.
But I don't know. I mean, obviously I enjoyed. Oh, why'd I throw it in double coverage?
Oh boy.
Because it's a tutter. No,
not even. You threw a fly ball.
I think I've learned how far a quarterback can throw it.
Yeah, and then you look on the flip side. Max Johnson was awesome after Connor Wegman went out. You have here. I do not believe the sky is falling in College Station. I never really did. I think Miami was a lot better than we realized. Mm-hmm. I do think A&M was a bit worse than we realized, but I don't think they're bad by any stretch of the imagination. I also don't.
I had him.
Got tattooed.
Just one more second, and I had him.
I also don't think.
I never switched the cameras anyway.
I don't think that Max Johnson is going to play that well every single game this season. Mm-hmm. I think he can. I don't think it is the norm. I don't think Ole Miss fans should get used to that sort of effort and accuracy and things of that nature because we've seen Max Johnson play before and it's not good. At times it's not good.
Yeah, I overreacted for sure to the Miami loss.
I saw him too late.
Yeah. Our court QB doesn't have the arm
Sorry
strength.
about that.
Hey, it's all good. No, I think I overreacted a little bit to the Miami loss. Miami's a little bit better than I wanted to give them credit as well. As far as we know, it's 4 weeks into the season, but
it's still relatively early.
You know, A&M. There's also time for their season to fall apart, like it did last year, and the sky to start falling.
I threw it directly to him. this is the worst game we've played so far.
This is dumb because we had them where we wanted them, man. We're still going to win this.
We're still going to win. But yeah, no, I think Texas A&M's defense is getting better leaps and bounds game by game. They just have some things they need to work on. They get the huge favorable matchup by having Alabama at home. I think that game looks way different if it's played in Tuscaloosa this year. We gotta start running more quick passes. Hold on. Timeout.
Well, it's a minute to half. So
Timeout on the pod. We need to talk about our game plan here.
Okay.
I know what you're doing. I know we're running a 2 minute. We come out of half. We got to start getting some quick passes in.
Yeah. That's all I did that first drive, then couldn't score.
We need to establish the run, and we need to get some quick passes going.
That's gotta. Oh, I don't know how that got there.
That was lucky. All right. So that's it on Texas A&M and Auburn. Other scores of note, and this is another part where I want the chat to go crazy. So whatever you guys want to hear, go ahead and launch it our way. Leslie Martin, if you're still with us, let's talk about JMU because something really funny happened there.
Sure.
So we'll see. Rutgers 7, Michigan 31. Michigan's played. You have it written here. Every game they've played, they've won 30-something to single digits.
So I don't care about this game, but I just think it's. You look at their scores and you see that they've won every game, either some variation of 31-7, 33-6, and I want to see how long that can go. That's just a little inside joke I wanted to. How many times can Michigan win this year?
Yeah.
30-something to a little.
Yeah. Also,
that was a touchdown. They cheated then.
Michigan hasn't really played very much competition-wise. I don't think. Maybe I'm just
Mossed them, baby.
Mossed
them, baby.
TJ Jones, baby.
That made up for the drops.
Yeah, big time. We're back in it. Oh yeah, I'm about to go tie this game up.
Here, I'll take over the points.
Yeah. You go ahead and take over. Texas 38, Baylor 6. By the way, that was a bad beat game.
How'd the bad beat happen in that one?
I think the over-under was 44.5, and the score was 38-6 with 3 minutes left in the third quarter, and both teams hit the red zone twice.
What do we have over here?
They were
still go Eagles. 4
total red zone trips between 3 minutes left in the third quarter to the end of the game, and they didn't hit the over.
That's funny. We mentioned USC beating Arizona State 42-28.
Hey, please don't blow by that.
If you have things you want to say about that game.
ASU was down 7 going into the fourth quarter, bud.
I actually didn't know it was that close going into the fourth.
It really was, and then it very much wasn't.
I was so locked into
your eyelids. That game was going on at like 1 a.m.
Yeah, I was so locked in. By that point, I'd already fully gone to Starfield after that Notre Dame game, and so I missed those really late ones.
You know what? A little side note. How is Starfield?
Every time I play it, I like it more.
Okay.
It's lived up to expectations.
I want to come watch you play it.
Absolutely.
I think I would enjoy not playing it myself, but watching you play.
You would enjoy playing it yourself, but maybe one day that'll.
Another first down drop.
No, it's really fun. World building is a big part of it.
Hard disagree from Tyler. What's the hard disagree on?
Is it hard disagree on Starfield?
Uh-oh. That could cause some issues.
I mean, it might not. I'm a Bethesda simp. I like Bethesda games. I like painstakingly.
Starfield bad.
It's not bad.
You heard it here first. Tyler Cohen, Starfield bad.
We're gonna fight on the podcast.
They're gonna put that on the box. It's gonna be like all the accolades, and then Tyler Cohen, Starfield bad.
Tyler clearly didn't read the headline. See, in order to have fun with Starfield, you have to play it 30 hours, and then it's fun. If you didn't reach 30 hours, don't talk to me.
Yeah, I don't know if I could put 30 hours.
If you haven't platinumed a game, then you can't have an opinion on it.
Stop it.
I'm
all right.
I just hit 3 days, so that's what 72 hours in now, and I'm having a blast.
We talked about this one a little bit, but Washington and Cal 59-32. Go look at Michael Penix's stats.
Go look at his stats, and then you'll see why he's the odds-on favorite for the Heisman. Oklahoma 20, Cincinnati 6. I thought Oklahoma would buy more, but the reason I put it down, because we're going to have some fun with this, that was a conference game. I didn't even realize that at first.
Yeah.
And then...
And Cincinnati really stepped up. They played well.
For Cincinnati's first shot at one of the Big Two in the Big 12, the only shot they're going to get at him as a Big 12 member, right. I'm okay with that. I'm okay with the way we played.
Weird.
Yeah.
I didn't think about that.
Yeah.
That's weird.
That's the one shot they get at him, and they're going to get I don't remember if they played Texas, but they get one shot at him. And I'm fine. Like, look at that.
I thought he was going to score.
So, yeah, 26. I'm happy with that. UNC beats Pitt 41-24. I don't have any stats for you, but hey, good job, UNC. They're still undefeated.
Way to go, sure.
We'll check in on them.
Drake
soon.
May did not throw multiple interceptions for the first time all year. Actually, he didn't throw a single one. And Pitt kind of had him shaking in their boots early, but then UNC kind of woke up and figured it out.
The Mississippi State 30, South Carolina 37.
Right.
Those are the games. The other games of note.
That game was weird because neither team wanted to play defense.
So that is it for week 4 until we get into Alabama.
Shall we?
Let's get right in. Alabama 24-10. I'm playing the game, so you lead us in the discussion to
Okay.
start.
I don't think it was a tale of two halves.
Yes.
I'm going to ask you a multiple choice question. Not multiple choice. A this or that.
Are
you more optimistic because of a great second half or more pessimistic because of a bad first half?
If it had been good first half, bad second half, I'd say pessimistic, but I liked the way they figured it out. And so I'm more optimistic because it was the way they closed the game and not the way they opened the game.
And I think some mistakes, like, look, a blocked punt that goes out at the 1 and you don't score is awful.
That's a black eye no matter how well you're doing this season.
Do you think if that scenario comes up again, Alabama will have that same scenario happen?
No. Even Saban himself questioned why they were in shotgun. And how many, we know, secretly Saban has been annoyed with his OCs, but that's probably the most public he's been about anything like that.
I don't know. National championship game with Bill O'Brien, he was pretty publicly angry.
You mean
we were
to the media or on camera?
On camera.
I mean talking post game, leading up,
Yeah.
People ask him questions and he's questioning his coordinators. I can get that. Questioning his coordinators in press conferences. That doesn't always happen.
That doesn't always happen, no. But
so he was pretty pissed off about that.
I don't think that we have a situation like that again.
No.
I think Jalen Milroe threw one bad pick, which at this point in the season we can probably expect him to do every game. He can have one bad pick a game. It was just that one was in the red zone.
You can't throw that pick.
You
can throw a pick, but you can't throw the pick because that's the same picks that he had against Texas.
I looked at you right after that and I said, why in the world are we throwing it? Because if we're that close to the goal line at this point, I don't want to throw it. We know Jalen struggles between 5 and 15
We are not a red zone throwing team anymore.
We're not. We're not. And that's okay. Because guess what? I would rather run the ball 3 times into a brick wall over and over and over again, okay? And then kick a field goal rather than throw an interception in the end zone. I would take that trade every time. Tyler says Jalen Milroe getting absolutely obliterated while throwing that TD. Changed the entire attitude of the team. Agree with that hard, Tyler. Think you got the boys fired up. Painted Milroe as a leader. Yeah, for sure. I think you hit the nail on the head. That was a big play. But you take away the punt block not getting in the end zone and the end zone interception, and that game looks a lot better than it already did, which is a 14-point win at home where you cover against a top 15 team, right? Any other program in the country, you beat a top 15 team by 14, you're happy. We're Alabama, so it's a little different, but no, Milroe, look, 17 for 21, 225, 1 touchdown, 1 pick, 28 yards, and he got sacked 5 times, right? A lot of pass pressure. O-line got better as the game went along. They're still not great. Jace McClellan got better as the game went along. I'm still waiting for him to have that big breakout run.
Yeah.
Right? Another touchdown called back because of a penalty.
That's 5 in 3 weeks.
Yep. So that's inexcusable. Can't happen. Hopefully, if Alabama can clean up either that
cut that upfield
or the interceptions, this season will take off. I'm not saying they're going to the college football playoff. I'm not even saying they're going to the SEC championship game. All I'm saying is if they can clean that up, this season is going to look a lot prettier. Either of those things. Either the penalties that erase touchdowns or the interceptions.
Yeah, I mean, Alabama should have 35 more points scored this year, which makes them undefeated.
Yes.
And makes them look oh, yes, sir.
That's why you run the football, ladies and gents.
We've been waiting for one of those. That's a save. Oh, right in front of the mascot.
I love it. You love to see it. Sorry for breaking off a, what was that, a 60-yard run?
77.
77-yard touchdown run?
Because
Sorry about it, podcast, but maybe you should tune in, twitch.com/patsinterference.
We needed that too.
Okay. Other things, Dallas Turner was awesome that game.
Yes.
He was the Bednarik Player of the Week in college football. He had multiple, I think 5.5 tackles for loss. He had a couple of sacks, I think.
2 sacks, 3.5 tackles for loss.
He also dropped back in coverage at one point and made Jackson Dart absolutely baffled, which was incredible to see.
I would have been baffled too, because why would we drop him in coverage?
Big loss. Deontay Lawson injured. He's day-to-day right now, but that's not always a good thing. We'll see how he progresses as we go out throughout the week. This obviously is being recorded on Tuesday, so we don't have that much more information.
Yeah.
But hopefully he's okay, because that defense, by the way, that's 2 weeks in a row that they have looked championship caliber.
I mean, that's the reason I'm happy today.
It's
the defense is the reason. I mean, there were some things that the offense did that felt better than last week, but the defense is the reason we're feeling better about this. That defense will put Alabama in a position to win every game.
Yes.
There's not a game that they won't have an opportunity to win because of the way the defense plays.
Malachi Moore has stood on his head this game, or this season, especially that game on Saturday.
I do want to add one thing on Dallas Turner, too.
Go ahead.
I don't remember if I said it on this podcast, or I probably did because of the way I talk, but I had said not super long ago that until further notice, Dallas Turner is a fraud, and I've removed the fraud label.
Oh, okay, good.
He's playing the best football of his career. That includes his freshman season.
Hey, I'm happy to hear that.
Yeah. Well, I know he needed that.
Malachi Moore has been huge. He made 2 really good open field tackles right around the line of scrimmage on Saturday that helped stop some big plays. He's been great in coverage. If you can have 2 really solid defensive backs like Alabama seems to have right now, you're in a big way. You're on your way to have a really, really solid season. So I like where Alabama's going on defense. And I think, like I said, if they can mop some things up on offense, I'll feel better. Again, I'm not saying it's SEC championship. I'm not saying it's national championship by any stretch of the imagination. But it's also not the 4-loss season that we thought Alabama was headed towards. If they can clean those things up. Now, granted, come back and talk to us next week after the Mississippi State game, which is always, as you brought up, a weird place to play. And we may feel a little different.
So I'm going to pause because I want to ask this question. I don't know if I typed it a good way to ask it.
Skylar is who I was pointing to, our director.
But, all right, scale of 1 to 10.
Yeah, sure.
How much your confidence was that Alabama could, because last week it was turning the season around and become a late season contender. I'm not saying make anything, but just being there in November as a team that's threatening for the playoffs. Where were you last week on a scale of 1 to 10, and where are you now?
Last week I was at about a 3. Right now I'm at about a 5, maybe a 6.
Yeah, I think I went from 3 to 6.5.
I feel better, but I also know that there were a lot of things in that game. Jackson Dart was not exactly great. He's by far not the best quarterback Alabama's going to face this season.
But he is one of the better ones, in my opinion.
I don't think he's anywhere near Jaden Daniels.
No, it depends on what day Jaden Daniels you get, but I agree with you there. They're playing A inside. I don't know if he's going to get open, but
I don't know if he's going to get open. I might throw it to that button.
It's open.
Oh,
you caught it.
Wow, what a catch. I think he is on the better side, but he didn't play it the other day.
See, here's the thing about Ole Miss.
He played poorly.
Is that because of what we did, or is that because? Well, I think that was an Alabama defense thing and not a Jackson Dart thing.
I agree with you. I also think it was a play calling thing. You and I kept looking at each other in the fourth quarter on that last drive for Ole Miss saying, what are they doing?
I said that multiple times in the second half.
Jet sweeps that are going 2 or 3 yards behind the line of scrimmage. You're not going to pick up first downs like that against a team like Alabama with the linebackers that they have. By the way, it needs to be stated, Jahad Proctor came in for an injured...
Campbell, yes.
Jahad Campbell, excuse me. Who's Jahad Proctor? Jahad Proctor was an old shooting guard for High Point University basketball.
I think you got Caden Proctor and Jahad Campbell mixed up.
Jahad Proctor.
Oh, you know a Jahad Proctor.
Was a shooting guard for High Point University basketball when I worked there.
That's a cool name.
That's how my brain works. Good night. Sorry, y'all. Best college football podcast in the world, though. But yeah, I think
I can't get it.
Jahad Campbell played great after the injury to Lawson. He was awesome. He took the big hit. Jackson Dart kind of tried to lower his shoulder and got his helmet knocked off. I don't really know who took the brunt of that hit, by the way. I think because Jackson Dart's helmet came off, a lot of people thought...
Go run the clock out of this game.
Oh, my gosh. I need to stop talking because this is my favorite thing to do in football.
You run the air out of the ball. There are a couple things I wanted to say about Alabama, and this is what I think Alabama was. yes, the first half was sloppy, but I think if you really break down what happened, they were super impressive, and they deserve a lot of credit for. And this isn't me being a homer. If you really looked at the results going into Week 4, you could make a case that so far through the season, Ole Miss had been the best team in the SEC so far. Just take everything else off Piper, who they played, who they beat, and how much they beat them by. They put up 73 in their opener. They destroyed Georgia Tech. They hadn't played anyone yet, but you can't fault them for that. They're just blowing teams out. So to hold a team that's put up 70 points, put up 42 against Georgia Tech, scoring a lot of points and hold them to 10, and it's a Lane Kiffin offense,
Yeah.
there's a lot to be said about that. And there's a lot to be said about Kevin Steele and the job he's doing. And I am impressed with what they did.
I am too.
Horrified by the first half, but it's a 4-quarter game, not a 2-quarter game.
Well, horrified for the offense.
Yes.
The defense still played great.
Oh, no, yeah. I mean, you know what I mean. Horrified because it was, 6-3 at halftime?
Yes, right.
3 all, something like that. 3. It was ugly, but
Oh, he slides for the first down.
you love to see it.
Yes, sir.
Do we have any comments lately?
No, nothing since Tyler. Chat, let us know what you think. Let us know what you want us to talk about.
All right, we're gonna
score update, by the way.
Yeah, give us to
Bulls
us.
2, Norfolk Tides 2.
2 all, man. That's crazy. We'll move to the
wrong read.
Pick the spread portion of the
Okay.
evening.
Love it.
Alabama, 14-point favorites at Mississippi State.
That's tough for me to take because I actually think that's a good number.
They don't know what to do. The odds makers don't know what to do with Alabama because
I
they
don't know what to
opened
do
up
with
at
Alabama.
11.5 last week, closed at 6.5 favorites, and won by 14.
Tyler says too high. I tend to agree with him. I think that's more. I'm more comfortable betting on that if it's like 10.5. So I'll take Mississippi State to cover, but I don't think that they're going to win.
I am too because Alabama traditionally doesn't play their best game in Starkville. They never do.
No.
I can't remember the last time they went in there and just blew them out.
No.
That's usually Mississippi State is later in the season. It's usually a November game that we play before the Iron Bowl, but it's not this year. And we always seem to be looking ahead to other games when we play Mississippi State. That probably shouldn't be the case this year because we don't really have the ability to do that.
Well, Texas A&M is. Oh, that's a good point. That's a
but
good point. I thought you were saying.
I still don't think they're. I think I would pick them to win this game by. I mean, I said this last week. I think the line is great because I would pick them by 13 right now.
Yeah.
USC, same exact thing as last week for Colorado, 21.5-point favorites.
Yeah. I'm running hurry up right now just because I kind of want to just watch this clock bleed off.
Yeah, sure.
I just don't really trust the game.
The Super Sun.
So, yeah, hey, great win, coach.
Great win,
coach.
We were going to blow them out in the rain.
I'll take USC covering here. Until Colorado can show me they can beat a good team or at least contend with a good team, I'm not going to pick them to cover the spread against anybody, especially the reigning Heisman Trophy winner. That being said, if Arizona State can hold them, anything can happen.
That's the thing is Caleb Williams has been playing really good football, but USC as a whole has been playing just good football.
Yeah.
But I'm going to agree with you there. I'm not going to be able to take Colorado over what I saw last week. Plus, more of their players. Shiloh Sanders is also injured. Florida, only 2.5 favorites at Kentucky.
Kentucky's good, man.
Is this going to be one of these years where I'm way too late to join the Kentucky train? I think everybody picking them is dumb, and then they're actually, oh look, they're 8-1.
Yes, because God help me, I can't remember his name. Devin Leary, I remembered it, from NC State, is now the quarterback over at Kentucky, and that dude can spin it.
You can spin it.
Yes,
better than Graham Mertz.
There's obviously a drop off between Will Levis and Devin Leary.
Is there? Levis wasn't good last year, man.
I agree with you on
tell you
that, but I think he's better than people realize. We're gonna play another week, right?
I just realized nobody saw you close that game out. I never switched the game
it's
back.
okay. I closed it out.
Hey, we closed out the game.
I do what I do.
We closed it out 23-17, and he ran the air out of the ball.
I did what I do.
I'm sorry, guys.
People know me for closing out games like that. That is what I am known for.
Did they watch any of that game? I don't think I ever switched it off.
No, you did.
Did I?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, dude, they saw the game.
Okay, just
Don't
making
worry,
sure.
relax. I think we missed a good chunk of it, but it's okay.
You know how I get in my head. Oh, we're playing Mississippi State right now.
Mississippi State. We got to play this game.
We're playing this game.
We got to play this game. So yeah, no, sorry. That was a lot to say. I will take Florida to cover here. Graham Mertz is not good. But I'll take Florida to cover here. Or excuse me, I'm going to take Kentucky to cover here because Graham Mertz isn't good.
I hate that you said that because I was going to make Kentucky my upset pick of the week.
No, they are an upset pick of the week. They're at home against Florida.
They're at home against Florida, but that would be an upset.
That rivalry has been a travesty lately, by the way.
I mean, I know Florida beat Tennessee, but I think Kentucky wins this. Georgia's only 14.5 against Auburn. I was surprised to see how low that spread is.
That is surprising. That is very much surprising.
Because I'm going to pick them I would pick them to cover 20.
Yeah. Yeah.
And I might be a little biased, but I also just don't think that Auburn's good, and I don't think that as a football fan, not just an Alabama fan.
It's also they're playing that game with Jordan Hare, so
yeah,
take it with a grain of salt. You didn't see what's going on with Kermit McDermott. Oh, you're looking now. You're looking now. All right, we got to look at Kermit McDermott.
Every week, got to see what he's doing.
Texas is a 17-point favorite against Kansas. I am not touching that with a 10-foot pole. That game, the last 3 or 4 years, has been a nightmare.
Yes, Kansas, I don't know what to make of them ever either. They're another Kentucky, a team that should be bad, but has actually been pretty good a couple times the last few years.
Charlotte looks not entirely terrible against Florida this week. I'm not picking Florida for anything, says Forrest. I don't disagree.
That's the thing, is that I think they beat them like 22-7 against Charlotte.
Yeah, dude, it's Charlotte. It's Charlotte. And hey, we don't lose to Charlotte.
I didn't realize we were going to be the same overall when I scheduled Mississippi. So I was just trying to give us like a,
I think
SEC
we're,
team to play.
I also think that's just the Quincy Radar effect.
Yeah, let's go beat number 20.
Let's go beat number 20.
Hopefully.
Number 20? All right, Mississippi State, we see you. All right, LSU, a 2.5-point favorite at Ole Miss.
I don't think Ole Miss is what they were on Saturday. I don't think that's who they are. But I also, again, can't get LSU right. So I want to easily take LSU in this one. Easily take LSU in this one.
We're about to get an absolute shootout in Starkville.
Boy. It's a bad red.
I think. Sorry, this just in. Norfolk leads Durham 3-2. Dang it! Come on, Bulls, you got it. Okay, I'll take LSU mainly because I think Jane Daniels is going to wake up. I think Ole Miss has kind of got a weird deflate game going right now where they're kind of. They got pumped up to play Alabama. They're going to have a little bit of a hangover game, I think.
You think so?
That's my think. Notre Dame is a 5.5-point favorite at Duke. There is a small chance I will be at this game. Shout out Kevin McMahon. Shout out Notre Dame football.
Shout out Stumpo.
I think Notre Dame's going to bounce back in this one. You and I were at that Duke-Clemson game to start the year, and that crowd, now it could have changed.
Well, now it's a sellout.
I just don't know if I'm really buying the Duke at home thing.
They didn't sell out Clemson, but they sold out Notre Dame, so the fans are getting excited.
But hey, stranger things have happened. It's college football, and man, it'd be fun. It would be really fun to see Duke beat.
That would be awesome if
Notre
Duke beat Notre Dame.
But at the same time,
and Clemson all in a month.
I've got to pull for Notre Dame in this one. I really, really do. As much as I love Durham, as much as I love Duke, one of my former students from High Point, Kevin McMahon, works for Notre Dame football. And I am, more than I am a college football fan, I am a Kevin McMahon fan. And I will pull for anybody that he is pulling for. Unless it's Notre Dame against Alabama in the playoffs or championship. That's just not going to happen.
Yeah, but I'm going to want Duke to win. I'm just picking big names here because I don't like Kentucky and I don't like Colorado and I don't like Duke.
I think this is another line that's been a really good pick, by the way, but I'm still going to take Notre Dame to cover. I think Notre Dame's going to win by 6-10. Tennessee, 13-point favorites against South Carolina. Where's that game?
That is at Tennessee.
That's at Tennessee. Gosh, it's hard to win there.
Yeah.
It's really hard to win there. And this is also a huge rivalry game.
You don't ever know what Spencer Rattler you're getting.
No.
He's been only very good or very bad, and he doesn't have, to me, that middle gear.
No.
It is. He's either looking like the reason he was the number one recruit in the country, the number one quarterback, or let's get there. Let's get there. Oh, let's go.
Let's go.
That's the backup running back.
Hey, coach. Great touchdown.
Picking up a bronze trophy there.
Yeah, no, I like that. Yeah, Tennessee's going to cover in this one. Spencer Rattler's not that guy, and it's a rivalry, or it's a revenge game.
I was shocked at this line. We've got two more for you. This one was very shocking to me. Oregon State is 3.5-point favorites at Utah. And I know Oregon State's been very good. They've been more than good.
I think this is a little bit of a...
DJ's had a revival to his career. They're undefeated.
Yep. I think this is a little bit of the... Guys, we can't be starting behind the sticks
Oh,
on
no,
first
holding.
down.
Part of the sliders is turning things like holding up so that they actually do happen in the game, and not just clipping. Because this game, remember, base sliders like every 7th play used to be clipping.
Yeah. I will say, Trent Dilfer did not look happy right there in that little clip.
Why would he be? You can't be doing it.
Uh-oh. Not used to the SEC speed. I'm getting rattled. Oregon State being a favorite at Utah, this is, again...
Feels weird.
It's the Cam Rising's not playing narrative, I think, is a lot of what this is. And again,
Or
the
DJ is playing.
I'm not saying that doesn't matter, because it clearly does. And I'm also not saying that, gosh, what a terrible play call by me. I got to pick it up this game.
Hey,
I've
it's
gotta
early.
pick it up.
It's early. We have the lead. We're good. We needed you last game. We didn't win last game without you.
I don't think it's a DJ thing. I think it's more the Cam Rising narrative, but I also think that's kind of dumb. Utah didn't look great, but at the same time, they didn't look terrible.
Yeah, they played a good team, and they beat a good team.
I'd
be going to Oregon State just because I want to see this
That'd
this
be
win
fun.
happen
It'd
for
be
them.
cool. And by the way, Corvallis is a really cool college football town. I think it'd be great for that area if Oregon State was. Oh my gosh!
I did not expect that
Take
linebacker to be
this
there.
controller away from me. I think it'd be, Corvallis would be a great college football town if they've got. It sucks that they lost to Washington State, but I think if they cap off their last season in the Pac-12 as a contender, that's awesome.
Yeah,
That's really cool. Okay, and then lastly, you've got Clemson as a 7-point favorite against Syracuse. That game's at Clemson.
How dejected is Clemson is what this comes down to.
So
how good is Dabo keeping his team from being dejected?
We're going to find out a lot
because their season's over.
About Dabo, as we were talking about earlier in the pod. We're going to find out a lot about Dabo and how he feels and what he looks like and how his players respond and how bought in they still are.
Yeah.
I could see a world where Clemson comes out and they bounce right back and win this game by 14-20. By the way, Syracuse is undefeated. It is the first time. Shout out Shutdown Fullcast. That's where I heard this stat. It is the first time they've beaten
Stacking the box.
beat all three of their non-conference opponents in like 19 years or something, which is wild to me.
That is crazy.
So yeah, I'll take Clemson covering. I think they're going to bounce back, but man, if they don't, that seat that we're talking about being warm for Dabo is about to get real hot.
I think Clemson is better than their record and their national perception makes them look right now.
All right, chat. You can.
So I'm picking them to cover, and I actually think they're going to win this one going away.
You can ask anything. Also, Forrest, offensive. You would say watch out for Connor Norby right after he homers against Durham.
Okay, so I thought of something today, and we don't have to do this the whole time, but we are in the first quarter. Our podcast part of this is done now.
Yeah, let's sign off on the pod. Let them go.
Sign off on the pod. Thank you guys for joining us, podcast listeners. For everybody else, we're going to keep playing to the end of this game.
We love you very much. We thank you for listening. We will talk to you next week. I don't really know when because my travel schedule is a little weird for the next week or so. But we'll do something somewhere. Follow us on Twitter at @PI_podcast. That's where you can find all of our news. And we also will let you know when we're about to stream if you want to start watching the Twitch stream, which I highly suggest. Quincy Radar, he's taking the world by storm. But thank you for listening. We love you. We'll talk to you next week.
What a throw.
By the way, the first half of the podcast did not record on the sound recorder because you remember we had the technical difficulty. I stopped recording, started working on the Twitch chat, came back, and
we'll get this
we
right.
were toast.
One day we'll get all working pieces done.
What's our time here? The good news is it's becoming. It took us like 20 minutes less to set up than it did the last 2 or 3 times.
That's true. Can I get a little game going? I want people in the chat to think of a random college football player that was of note. Don't pick some backup tight end for, Cincinnati from 2008. But think of a random college football player of note. Mention them. Try to make it a little and then we're gonna try to give our memories of them, and our retrospective look at them.
Can I start this off because I think I have a really
we can. Well, if nobody wants to comment, we can just go back and forth with each other.
I'm gonna go Felix Jones.
Just the consummate one of the better backups you'll find, a true Lendale White.
So Alabama in 2007, Saban's I'm here game.
Yeah.
Was when number 7 Arkansas came to town and he beat them in the last minute of the game.
Darren
McFadden got put out in early in the third quarter with a concussion, and Felix Jones came in and they didn't miss a beat. It was the same running game.
Well, I mean, he was a good running back in the NFL for a while.
He was with the Cowboys, right?
Yes.
Yeah. No, he was a great running back. So yeah, I would say Felix Jones in that same vein because we're talking about the Cowboys. Morris Claiborne, dude. Morris Claiborne was a torturous safety in college.
He is Morris Claiborne's one of those players that everybody forgot about because of what their NFL career was, a D. Milliner, if you will.
Oh.
Yeah, like a good player in college that was a top something pick in the NFL and didn't quite stick because he.
How many years do you have to be a good defensive back in the NFL for people to say, oh no, he had a pretty solid career? What's that number?
That's a good question.
Because whatever it is, Kareem Jackson's doubled it.
So I think of a guy like. Ooh, I got a name for you. Let's see how much you remember about him. The old former Washington player Marcus Peters had himself a little decent career before it. Also, then he went from being a good corner in the league to a bad corner in the league pretty quick. He was so I would say at least 2 or 3 years of very solid play, and then you can be looked at as like a player that had a decent career.
Yeah.
Let's see. Do you remember Mike Hart?
No.
That might be a little too far back. That was a probably mid to late 2000s Michigan running back that played with Chad Henne. Evan Royster was one that seemed like he was in college forever. I always think of those two together.
How about a little bumper pool?
Who did he end up on? He's not still at Arkansas, is he?
No, I don't think so.
We got one now. Joey Harrington.
Wow,
My
dude.
first ever NCAA video game for the PS2. I did have one on the PS1, but the first PS2 one was the one with Joey Harrington.
Mine was GameCube, and he was. By the way, that was Oregon, right? I'm not.
Yeah, Oregon.
I think Joey Harrington. A lot of people point to the start of Oregon being like LaMichael. Oh gosh, help me.
LaMichael James.
James.
Yeah,
like
sort
that
of the
era
perception
was kind
change.
of like the click over for Oregon. Nah, dude, Joey Harrington would like a word, my guy.
It's a shame. I always liked him. I always thought I wanted him to be better in the NFL. I wanted him to work out on the Lions. He didn't. And then he actually got a chance on the Dolphins, which was even worse than what he did with the Lions. 'Cause I'm pretty sure that was the year they went 1-15.
Well, the Dolphins can't produce good quarterbacks. You can ask anybody.
We haven't even brought that up. While we wait for the next name, I am going to bring up the fact that my Dolphins scored 70. And then I'm going to tell you guys that I'm actually like trying not to get too high about it because it's week 3 of an 18-week season.
You walked in with a lot less sauce than I thought you would today about that. And then I remembered as soon as you started saying it, I was like, oh, he's waiting for the bad thing to happen.
I am waiting for the bad. Yes, it's like I can't let myself ever get. Look how much they're stacking the box on us. I can't ever let myself
I'm going
get too
deep, bro.
You have to. And X is going to be open. He got open.
I saw him too late and didn't want to throw a pick, so I panicked and then I threw a pick. Okay, great one.
Good.
Great one. Ready?
Yeah.
Percy Harvin. Again, if you're an SEC fan from that time, if he's on your team, he's incredible. You love him.
Percy Harvin's a god.
If he is not on your team, I hated him.
He
annoyed the daylights out of me because of how good he was.
I was an FSU fan at the time, remember? I hated him too.
I stood up on my couch at one point and just started yelling, how? Like he was blanketed. Catch, run for 30 yards.
Not only that, but he had a injury-plagued NFL career, but when he was there, he was good. He had a kickoff return touchdown in a Super Bowl.
Yes, he did.
Look at that pancake block from our lineman. I'm going to bounce that out.
Do you think he had a good NFL career?
Yeah, I think it was good, but he didn't live up to the first-round billing. But yeah. He had a lot of, I guess, migraines were always an issue. This is one of the best read options of the game. If you have a super fast quarterback, but we don't, he's going to get tackled.
He's about to get mollywopped.
We're going to go for it anyway.
Yeah, it would have been, 6 yards is great.
yards.
5 yards is great. Here you go. I'm going to throw one out that's a little bit of a curveball, and that should be a little hint. Mm-hmm. Jeff Samardzija. The Bush push game.
That's a Biletnikoff winner.
That's a little Brady Quinn action for you.
Actually, I can't remember if he won it or if he was a finalist, but I think he won it.
I think he won it, and then went and pitched multiple seasons in Major League Baseball and was actually a pretty decent pitcher. And I think made way more money as a pitcher than he ever would have as a player.
He was good. He's a good pitcher. My friend Kyle, my best friend at the time, Kyle, in Dothan. Shout out Kyle, one
Shout
of
out.
our finest.
Shout out, baby Kyle.
Very cute Instagram post of your daughter yesterday.
Oh, with that little hat on. God.
But no, he's grew up a Notre Dame fan. We would always talk crap on the other teams that
Yeah, sure.
And he was big. I've never heard somebody say the word Samardzija so many times. Adam.
Where did he go? He went up. I think he played for both Chicago teams, didn't he? I think he played for the White Sox and the Cubs.
He was a Giant as much as I remember.
I mean, I can go Alabama. If you want to stick
I think
NCAA, I can go Alabama the rest of the time.
Let's keep going. We'll see if any other names pop up. I'll give you one. Let's think of. They keep blitzing the safety, so I'm going to keep trying to hit them deep.
He's there. I lied.
Oh,
I thought he had it.
I threw it to the single coverage. He didn't have a step, but I saw one-on-one.
I thought he had it. That's on me. That's on me.
No, it's all good. I was throwing out anyway. All right, well now it's third down. So let's go to what I know. Let's go to recent plays. Nick Fitzgerald. I was looking at Mississippi State. I was like, I can surely think of a Mississippi State player.
Yeah.
Remember how highly he was thought of for a minute?
Yes. Yeah. And he was good.
No way! I squeezed that in there perfect. Come on, man. My two best throws of the day were both dropped.
If we're talking most exciting, then we got to include Vic. If you haven't, go back and watch the Michael Vick Virginia Tech season where they went to the national championship game. It's that. Dude,
watch him in that national championship that they lost, but he was really good in that game.
His highlights are awesome. They're a ton of fun to watch too. You know what? The other night, you and Forrest, I walked in to watch Sunday night. Why did he turn? Oh, because our quarterback has a noodle arm.
Yeah, that was a Tua deep ball right there.
We walked in and watched the Sunday night game, and y'all were just watching old,
we were
really crappy YouTube video highlight tapes. I would watch the Michael Vick one. That's one that I would have pulled up. Clock's running, isn't it? Here we go. We're scoring on this play. Nope. Terrible.
Yeah, stops the clock. Remember, field goal. We do want this field goal too.
Yeah,
but we're getting a touchdown.
Yeah, I mean, I'm scoring.
Yeah.
I didn't say I'm scoring. Let's go with a little Golden Tate. I'm trying to pick Notre Dame guys in case I'm going to the Notre Dame game this weekend.
Golden Tate was a Blitnikoff finalist. I don't remember if he won it. He out of all the ones we've said, he maybe has had the best NFL career. He had a very good several years on both the Lions and I think the Seahawks.
Yep.
I never thought he was as good as he always played, so I was wrong on him every single year. For some reason, I never believed in him.
Most iconic, one of the more iconic, funny moments for Notre Dame football is him jumping into the band. Backyard football, baby.
That's a tutter. That's a beautiful. Pow. That is a beautiful touchdown.
That's just backyard football. That's just Bryce Young football right there. All right, Forrest said CJ2K. We were talking about the videos, and that was the one y'all were watching, the ECU.
I hate this, but I actually didn't know who he was in college because he played for ECU and wasn't like a
growing up in Tennessee,
household name,
especially Middle Tennessee, at the time when he was on the Titans, and it was like, we got the next Eddie George, was wild because he was so great and then so not great. And it wasn't even he wasn't so not great. The whole team just kind of completely fell apart.
Yeah.
They depended on Kerry Collins as a legitimate quarterback for 2 seasons. Mm-hmm. And people were like, well, why weren't you ever a Titans fan? That's why, dude. Because my first year was Steve McNair and Eddie George. And then as I grew up, they depended on Kerry Collins.
He was one of the first good case studies on like how quickly a running back's career. I don't know why I decided to throw that ball to him. He was a good case study, like one of the very first running backs I can remember that, like, you know how it felt like it was a new thing that running backs would just very quickly fade away from the NFL. He was one of the first ones. I mean, he was a legitimate like mega star in the making, and he was a superstar. He's going to be a mega star, and then his game just
he got
caught up to him.
He got the injury bug too,
and teams started running the ball less and stuff like that. I mean, he just kind of was a product of those times. Right. I'm sorry, Forrest, that I didn't know who he was in college. I hate that for me, too.
He said, to be fair, they were in the CUSA. And honestly, my Jefferson Pilot Station was always tuned into Mississippi State and Arkansas or somebody. Mm-hmm. It was never tuned into the CUSA. Jake Plummer, little Arizona State action.
I don't remember him as a. I remember him as a very well. Remember him as a Bronco, highly underrated NFL quarterback that had a lot of really good offenses there. Throwing to Javon Walker, dudes like that. I think it was Javon Walker. I think he played for the Broncos at the time.
Yep. Gosh.
Let's keep read optioning them.
I want to give you like a really good one. I mean, if we want to go more recent, Nick Fairley.
Well, I mean, that was one of my least favorite players
Yeah.
of my college football time, and a lot of that is biased because of Auburn, but also he was dirty, and I say that knowing the Bama's had their share of dirty players.
Yeah.
That's going to be picked.
Oh my gosh.
I think he's going to cut with them.
We're really kind of playing with fire in this game.
We are.
This is a game where Dilfer's looking at us going, boys, we need to put this away.
This has been my best game yet. This hasn't been my best drive, but I like this curls dig. I've used this play before. It's tough though. You can't throw it too early because I don't like the defense here. But we're gonna.
I really don't like this. Oh
We're gonna
man,
go
he
for
did
it
not
anyway.
roll out.
Because I don't need to.
I really thought he was gonna overthrow that.
All right, now we gotta run the ball a little bit more.
I gotta think of somebody good here.
I liked Jake Plummer.
How about Jason White? Dude torched Alabama in 2000.
He was probably the first
4?
Heisman winner that happened when I started watching football. Like he was probably the first Heisman winner of my first like college football season that I watched beginning to end. And then he went undrafted, I want to say.
I don't know about
Which
that.
in my infancy days of college football, I couldn't wrap my head around. I was like, he just won the Heisman. How could he possibly be going undrafted? But he just was very good at Oklahoma, and then
2002, Alabama went to Norman and he tore his ACL.
that's not good.
Oh, he tore his ACL. What happened?
He got sack fumble.
All right, Dilfer's not going to be happy with us.
That is not even my fault.
We may get canned here. We may get canned here.
fault.
Dilfer's going to fire us.
Was the knee down? No, they would have reviewed it.
Unless
And they scored on the first play?
unless
No, we got the ball back, and no, they scored on the first play.
unless I can put on the greatest talent show this town's ever seen, we're going to get fired.
So bad. That's so bad. I'm so mad right now.
Don't be mad. Don't be mad. Just give me more players. Come on, think about it. Think about it. Think about it.
I'll come up with one. Let me think of a random team and then a random player.
Jason White torched Alabama in 2002. If you can look up those numbers, what his numbers were. I remember everyone in my house being depressed about that game, but I don't really remember why.
Let's see. Versus Alabama.
3 yards in a cloud of dust, man. It's the 2002 Alabama-Oklahoma game, if that helps. It was in Norman.
I think it was 2003.
Was it 3? I thought it was 2.
Oh, well.
Okay, well, here we go. Where's he go? Pow. Nope, threw a pick.
It was a 2013 Oklahoma
Hey,
win.
I threw a pick.
Oh, we're going to be all right. We're still going to win this.
We're not leading receivers enough when he beats them.
Yeah.
And I don't know if do I just need to wait longer for that to get open?
No, I mean, I would hold up on the left stick, but that's just the nature of this game. That's the way that past trajectories work. But I think we're about to get the ball back.
Yeah, hopefully. Yes, sir. You're good
Right.
defense.
Okay,
All right.
okay, okay.
Hey, defense has really been putting on for us today.
We need this. Okay, we're going to try slip screen to open up the drive.
How about we go a little bit more recently and somebody who's in the Pat's interference mythos? What about a little... Oh, man. What about a little Chase Bryce action?
One of the better quarterbacks of the last 50 years.
You remember the Clemson-Syracuse game? He had to come in because Trevor Lawrence got hurt?
Yes.
And then he was a hero, right?
I remember that one.
Ladies and gentlemen, Jade Norwood.
I don't think she wanted you to see her. She sprinted past the cam.
She ran. Oh, RB. Oh, no. Oh, no.
I know. I'm throwing it before I check the read or check the cuts.
Oh, Jared Lorenzen. The round mound of touchdown. Rest in peace.
I know the legend of him more than I know the player.
Oh,
R.I.P. though.
You talk about a highlight video to go watch. The round mound of touchdown.
No. All right, we need you, and we also need the defense here. Oh,
I mean, we can't keep depending on the
we're
defense.
not getting open.
Well, we got to throw the ball, or we got to run the ball more. We're not running the ball enough.
Huge oppo.
We're not running the ball enough. So guess what we're doing this drive?
Throwing.
It's going right in their throat. I mean, this is just, we're cramming it. Cram. Love it.
Nice. Fall forward.
Back to the line. Get back up there.
Let's go with Vernon Davis.
Okay.
And you can talk about him NFL. I don't really remember him at Maryland, but
yeah, I don't remember much of anything in Maryland football that doesn't include Talia Tagovailoa.
well, that's the
Where is
the
he
goat.
now?
Vernon Davis.
No, Talia.
He's still at Maryland.
No way.
Yeah, he's very good. He's a good player.
No, I know he's good. I just didn't know he was still there.
He's starting. He's throwing 300 yards a game. I mean, he still makes mistakes,
Dude,
but
that's
I think they're
crazy.
undefeated.
Are they
I think he's like
are they
8th in the
stacking
country,
the
and
box right now.
they've been the whole game, literally the entire game. That's why I keep audibling to passes.
Sorry, built different. Better than you.
Just run it down their throat. That's gonna take us to the fourth quarter.
Yeah, it is. I'm gonna let this clock run out.
Eric Berry.
One of the two Tennessee people I have a soft spot for.
Mm-hmm.
Coming back from cancer and playing the career he had is just wild, dude. That's so cool.
How about Trey Burton at Florida?
Hated Trey Burton. Also, though, the Trey Burton jump pass that got picked off against Alabama was one of the funnier things that ever happened.
They did
Do
that.
you remember that?
Yeah, they did. They did that. It was Dante Hightower, right, in the end zone.
Yep, and it turned the game around.
Uh-huh.
They had us against the ropes, and then they did that like a bunch more.
That was the first super hyped game. No, that wasn't. Penn State was the first, but that was one of the super hyped games for I guess that was probably my freshman year at Alabama.
Yeah. No, that would have been your sophomore year.
Was Courtney Upshaw there?
No. You're right. Freshman year.
Yeah.
That would have been your freshman.
Yeah, the home game, and then Alabama played him on the. I can't remember actually.
Did you just catch your mouse?
I did.
That was awesome.
I'm surprised they did that without like
You're an athlete, dude.
turning anything off.
You're an athlete.
Are you using the phone charger?
No, I don't really know where it is. Here it is. There you go. Do you want to be on the Twitch stream?
I'm good.
You can hang out with the boys. We got room.
I'm hanging out.
We're not even really podcasting anymore.
Jade.
We're just finishing out this game and talking about stuff.
Name a random college football player.
A random one?
Yeah, just one from the past.
From the past.
There's no wrong answer here. As long as you
No
can
wrong
think of
answer.
their name, and we're going to talk
Well,
about
now
them.
I want to take it like more.
Beautiful ball. Beautiful ball.
Thank you. Not a player, but Boise State. I love that answer. Holy crap, I love that answer. We could talk about this for 20 minutes.
Not a player, but Boise State overall.
Yeah.
I mean, one of the iconic teams of my childhood, just with everything they were able to always do with Kellen Moore and Jared Zabransky and Ian Johnson and
You remember the
all
time,
those dudes.
Even
Jay Ajayi was awesome there.
It would have been your sophomore year that they just took Georgia to the woodshed.
Mm-hmm.
Just absolutely whooped them.
That was a Kellen Moore game.
Yep. That was
Kellen Moore is one of the most underrated names for people to remember. Like, yeah, he didn't do anything in the NFL because he was short and left-handed, and people didn't play short and left-handed quarterbacks back then. But
Well, they certainly do now because the best quarterback in the NFL right now is
a
a
short
short
lefty.
left-handed quarterback.
Yes.
I don't know if you knew that or not, but
Kellen Moore was that dude, and he wasn't and he got a little bit of hate because like Boise State had been kind of doing that for a while, and they were annoying, and we got annoyed with them winning all the time, but still not making the championship because they're Boise State, and we won't let them be good. But Kellen Moore was different.
They walked so UCF could run.
Yeah, actually, yes. But Kellen Moore was very, very different compared to like he was he would have been good on any college football team.
That should have been a
type of guy.
6-yard loss, but thank goodness our backup running back is great. I think I'm gonna have to start letting it fly a little bit, and I'm very nervous.
And our kicker's bad, so you probably need 15 to 20 yards to get in a field goal range, unfortunately.
Running it one more time.
It's a good run. Perfect run. It's first down.
Glad I did. Glad I ran it. And obviously the Fiesta Bowl. How do you feel about him proposing to his lady after the game?
Loved it.
You did?
I did.
I don't know,
Especially at the time, and I think it's aged well.
I would be mad if I were her.
Okay, well that's an interesting.
I
Why?
want my own moment. I don't want to be attached
Okay,
to
so
another.
You need to see the game to believe the game that he did it in, though. Like, it's part of the legend. At this point, it's become part of the legend
but
of
my
that game.
thing is, you're taking away from the team's sort of.
And her moment.
Hey, there's zeros on the
Well,
clock.
she was a cheerleader. She was a cheerleader.
That makes it okay.
Right.
And they won one of the bigger upsets ever in a bowl game with the most crazy ending. They used trick plays to win it on more than one occasion. It was crazy, and they beat Oklahoma. I always thought it added to the legend of the game. And I mean, also I was a kid, so I didn't really know the etiquettes of what girls like as far as proposals go. And I mean, I'm not going to pretend like I still do.
Oh,
but
come on! What do I do?
What do you do here?
What do I do?
What do you do here?
We're going for it. We're going for it.
Yeah.
Mom ain't raised no bitch.
If you play not to lose, what is going to happen?
You're gonna lose. That's the call. That's the call right there. Oh, you're getting a good setup too. Oh, they're bringing
Where's
him
my
in there.
read? Oh, I hate this. We're audibling out.
He audible do a pass. Who are you? You know what you're doing. Just go pick that up.
What? What?
He fumbled.
Oh my gosh! Oh my gosh!
He was out of bounds.
He almost just fumbled out of the back of the end zone. I
Oh.
would have crapped my pants.
It was your running back's fault too.
Oh my gosh.
You were trying to get out of bounds.
Oh my gosh, dude. I just had a heart attack. That was terrifying. Trent Dilfer is looking up at us in the booth like, why I oughta.
Yeah, you got to forget that. Why are the safeties standing in the back of the end zone? That would never happen in real life.
Well, it's Mississippi State. It might happen in real life. I kind of like that they pulled me down there. Do I melt clock or do I? No, I got to score now.
You have to score. You need a touchdown. In fact, if we give them too little time, they'll go score and we'll get the ball back and won't have enough time.
Yep. Here we go. We're getting in the end zone this play.
Yeah, right off that tackle is in.
This play. I didn't have time. Flag. Uh-oh.
That's not good. That's not good.
I hate that.
That's not good.
I hate this.
I think that's the most annoying penalty in football.
Holding. I agree, Jade. I'm with you. Jade, name an obscure college football player.
Yeah, all of my obscure ones aren't obscure.
Give it a shot.
We don't want it too obscure. I don't want to look like an idiot on here.
Well, all of mine are Alabama players.
That's perfect.
That's fine. I did a couple Alabama players. I don't care.
I don't-
This is a big third down here. I'm interested to see what you call.
Uh-oh. First pitch alert. Durham takes a 4-3 lead over Norfolk. Let's go. Come on, Ruben. Oh my gosh. I'm straight up nervy. What do I call here?
I like that inside zone.
No, a run on 3rd and goal from the 7? Are you insane? Do you know why I said that?
Yes.
Oh, dude, I hate this.
Yeah, I was gonna say.
I hate
you gotta
this.
Speed.
No, I did it. Oh, I did it.
You gotta get there. Oh no! He's down.
Oh, this loss is on me. This loss is fully on my shoulders.
I'm about to lean forward in my chair meme. We're
Please
getting this
don't
ball
score.
back. We're getting this ball back.
No,
this isn't
no,
good.
we're toast.
This isn't good. Yeah, they scored.
Ah, that'll do it. I'm sorry, buddy.
No, we got this.
That's
Watch
on
this.
me.
Watch this.
That's on me, dude.
Watch this.
Oh, God, Brick, I'm so sorry.
Watch this. Watch me whip and then watch me nay-nay. Okay, well, nobody's going to be open on this play.
Just get rid of it.
Yep.
Oh, I'm so sorry.
They don't deserve this
I
win.
thought he was open.
No, Mississippi State doesn't deserve
He
this
drops back. He drops back on me, and I wasn't ready for it, and I
I'm
blew it.
going to cheese the CPU. They're going to cut up, and one of these dudes is getting open here.
Ooh. There's a chance. Got to get to the line. Do you have a thumbnail?
Oh, don't do this right now.
Sorry. Sorry. Are you self-conscious about it?
Oh, big time.
Oh, I'm so sorry.
My whole life I've
That's me. That's all.
had to do something. Oh! 5 turnovers is never going to get it done. I hate to end it this way.
You said don't do this right now. I thought you were talking to the game. I didn't know you were talking to me.
Go get this touchdown. Here, I'll show the podcast. So, as a kid, I bit this one thumbnail so much that one of my
We
thumbs
just had
was
a drop
legitimately
50-yard
longer
game,
than
by
the
the way.
other. Like I'm not kidding. Like that is me holding.
Holy crap, dude.
Wait,
Yeah.
what?
This thumb has always been pretty stumpy.
Aw.
It's just my cute little thumb.
I'm watching it now on our stream here. Dude. That is wild.
Yeah, 2 different sizes.
I had no idea. I'm sorry. I just thought it
Are your
was like
other
a...
fingers like that?
No, but my nipples are.
Just do our fucking 6th Oh my god, dude. This is rough. Do we play another one after this? I can't end on this, dude.
I need dinner. I need dinner.
Oh man.
No, we're just gonna have to come back next week stronger.
Yeah, that's on me. That game's fully on me, dude.
Wait, we lost?
Yes, Jade, we lost. Why? Yes, we lost. And it's my fault. Good news. Game just crashed.
Oh. Yeah, that's kind of... Well, you know, it crashed while we were winning, so we might be able to play this one again. Nope, it came through. I was gonna
okay.
I was gonna leave that up
All
to
right.
chat
All
on whether or
right.
not we were allowed to have a do-over, but
All right.
too late.
Let's kill the stream, huh? Let's
Yeah.
let these people go. Hey,
All right,
thanks for
guys.
watching.
Yep.
Bye. I love you. Sorry I suck.